I've been pushing this video off a little bit because I really didn't want to do this, but turns out it has to get done. So we're gonna get it done, and I'll show you guys how to do it. What's up, guys? So for today's video, we are doing the rear brake caliper on my 03 Dodge Durango. Okay, so you're gonna need a 12 millimeter, a 10 millimeter, a 15 millimeter, and a 21 millimeter socket if you're gonna change your caliper bracket and your caliper here. This did come together. I took it apart just so I can show you the separate pieces. They had these little metal brackets separate from the rest of the caliper, but they're really easy to install. The long piece is on top, and on your bracket there is a notch. Okay, so this little piece here goes inside that notch, and then you just gotta push it down, and it snaps right on there, just like that. And then it should be on there. I already put the one on this side. Easy enough. So then you're gonna come over here. You're gonna take your caliper bolts out first. So this one and this one. But you're not going to remove the caliper yet, because you want to break this bolt here first before you pull the caliper off. Because if you break this, or you try to break this bolt after you pull the caliper off, you're not going to be able to get it loose. So you want to break this before you pull the caliper off. But you can pull the caliper bolts out first, because these the caliper just sitting here should be enough to hold it so you can break this loose. So I'm going to pull the other one out, and then I will break this, and I'll show you guys how that goes. You may need a bucket or a cup or a bowl, because once you pull this here, you're gonna have brake fluid going everywhere. So you want to try and catch it in a clean container, because you can probably reuse some. I wouldn't. I would just use fresh brake fluid, but you want to catch it all so you don't have a mess on the ground. So I'll pull these bolts out, I'll break this, and I'll show you guys that in a second. Okay, so I took that bolt out. Here's what it'll look like afterwards. There's the bolt back there. I'm gonna have someone step on the brakes to see if any brake fluid comes out of the line here, because I'm having issues back here with this rotor. So I'm gonna see if the issue is the brake line or the brake caliper. All right, they're good. All right, so there is fluid coming through there. So my guess is that the issue is just a brake caliper here. So we're gonna continue with replacing it. But once you take those bolts out, your caliper should come right out. Hang on. You may need to pry it off. Okay, so once you get your caliper off, the caliper bracket bolts right here and right here are 21 millimeters. So you're just gonna back those out really easy until your caliper bracket comes loose. Okay, they will come out just like this. They're nice big ones. The new caliper I bought came with the bracket, but did not come with the caliper bracket bolts. So you're gonna need to hang on to these bolts to reuse them for the new one. But then we will go grab the new one, and I'll show you guys how to reinstall it. It's pretty easy. You're just gonna do the same thing you did to take this off, just backwards. And once you get your brake caliper back on here though, it will look like this. There's this little yellow tab right here. You do not want to pull this out until you're ready to put your brake line back on, because you don't want to get anything in here. Also, you're gonna need, I believe this should be an 11 here, this little nut, because you're gonna need to bleed the system to make sure you're getting brake fluid to your new caliper, because you don't want to ruin a new caliper right after you put it on. So before you put this back on, you can see all the grime and all the dirt. You just want to wipe that off. Make sure there's nothing in the middle inside the hole. You want to make sure there's nothing in there, no debris, no rust, none of that. You want to make sure you clean it all off. So I'm going to clean this off real quick, and then we'll stick it back on. Okay, so after you put this back in, it should look like that. You want to make sure it's nice and snug, and then you want to have someone step on the brakes, or you want to step on the brakes and make sure you're not dripping any brake fluid from here, because this is where all your brake fluid goes in. So we're gonna do that real quick, and we'll make sure there's no brake fluid coming out, and then yeah, All right, look at that, no brake fluid. All right, now we're gonna try and bleed it to make sure that there's some brake fluid coming to it. Okay, so after you get that done, I popped open the bleeder valve here. I hooked up my little bleeder thing, and I'm gonna have someone pump the brakes. Yeah. To make sure fluid comes. Pump it again. Pump it again. Pump it again. One more time. One more time. Again. We're almost there. We're getting that air out. And you see the air bubbles. Yeah. Alright, oh, stop. Once you make sure there is no more air in that little line, you're good to go. You can tighten up the bleeder valve. You can put your wheel back on. Obviously, I didn't put my wheel back on yet. And then I recommend, if you're going to do your brake caliper on this side, do the one on the other side as well. You don't have to do all four, but I recommend if you're going to do the back one on one side, do the back one on both sides, just so that they're both done at the same time. And then you'll know when they were done last and all that type of stuff. That's always important. Also, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because we're gonna have some more videos coming. I have to fix up the intake here a little bit because I want to stretch it down so it'll come down into here to where the hole is down in here. So that's gonna be the next project, I think, on the Durango. I've had it for about 3 weeks now, almost a month, and I've been pushing off this brake caliper thing, so it hasn't really left my parking pad in like 2 weeks, a week and a half. So hopefully this is the last problem I have with this for right now. But if you guys want to see more Durango videos, make sure you subscribe. I'm sure we'll have more to come. She's an old girl, so I'm definitely sure there's going to be some more stuff going on. Eventually I'm going to change out this coolant cap as well, because this cap shouldn't be this loose. It should be a tight, snug fit. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Good vibes, good cruising.